budget speech. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today?
Good and you?
I can't complain. All right, just getting right back into it. Did you approve? Did you like it? Are you seeing any light at the end of the tunnel with regards to yesterday's proceedings?
Yeah, I was very surprised because my predictions was I knew they were going to introduce a wealth tax. But I thought they were going to be like 42%, and they increased it by 4%.
Wow.
And as well, they increased the dividend tax to 20%. That's another 5% increase. So I was actually surprised for what they announced there yesterday.
All right. So it looks like he shook and surprised a lot of people, obviously taking a little bit here and making for it out there. Now, the GDP growth is expected to be 1.3% in the next year. And what's your thoughts about that? Obviously, we're looking in terms of now we're seeing a lot of companies are moving out of the country, and there's this whole transition in terms of selling of PE partners coming through and taking stake in those previously huge companies. So, what's your take on our GDP in terms of the next year?
The thing is, I think it will actually stabilize on the total percentage of 1%. And they say the growth is small, so 1% is small. But I can't see it increasing in the next few years. So we just have a steady increase of 1% per year for the next 3 years.
And then with regards to the the increase, it always happens every year that every time that there's a budget speech that's been read, I always wait for that humorous part whereby they talk about the sin taxes and everything like that. But with regards to that, the sugar tax. With regards to that, how are you looking at it, and is it going to work with regards to our side and our exports?
See, the thing is, the sugar tax will be introduced because they've been talking about the last 2 financial years. So basically, it must increase because that's a way to make the deficit of 28 billion they have to get into SARS. So that's a part of the increase in sugar tax. So basically, it will be implemented. And it will have an effect on people, but not a huge effect. It's like carbon tax.
Okay.
No one knows exactly carbon tax still exists.
All right, so, but it is there, but nobody knows that it still exists, eh? So it's hidden somewhere at the bottom there. Hello?
Excuse me, just repeat that again?
No, I was saying, like, you made an example of saying that it's like carbon tax. Not everybody knows that we still have it, but it is there.
Yeah, and it's called the green tax, if you want to call it like that. So basically, everyone will get used to it. And with the sin tax, it increases annually with the inflation from 6 to 10%. So everyone knows if you're drinking and smoking, it will have an increase, of course.
All right. That's my cue for me to try and chill up on some other things. Now, they're saying that exports, they are expected to grow by, obviously I see it's 2017, 18 and 19. So you gave a 3-year forecast with regards to this. He's stating that 1.9% 2017, 4.9% in 2018 and 5% in 2019. And then he had also an estimated negative growth of about minus 1.2% last year. So now my question is, with those percentages, are we just is it just forecasting? Because now when it comes to exports, obviously there's a lot of factors we need to put in terms of the economy currently, domestically, what happens outside, is there any other threats or any disasters that take place? So these estimated export increases or growth percentages, are they is it something that our country is going to be able to sustain or maybe grow by that? Obviously taking what I just mentioned now.
Yeah, see, the thing is, the most important thing is because the taxes increase, of course, the growth will increase as well for the exports. So the people outside of the country, other countries will pay more to import from our country. And the same thing goes from exporting and importing from our side as well. So I can see a growth in that for the next few years.
All right. So now those were just the macroeconomic outlooks. Now, when it comes to the actual frameworks itself, they stated also that the state debt is also steadily creeping up. Meaning that debt stock as per percentage of gross domestic product is expected to stabilize at 48.2%. Obviously, that's a forecast of like 2021 or 2020. How realistic is that? Because
the thing is now, because they're talking about the growth, and I don't think the growth that they expected is going to happen. my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I can't see it happening for the next few years.
well, because I can agree with you, because I heard him stating the fact that he was making an example of the state infrastructures, and he stated the fact that our country has a habit of building new things instead of making the point that the ones that are already existing are well taken care of. So I can understand exactly where you're coming from when you say that we cannot, you don't think that it's possible so that we can reach that.
Yeah, no, of course. I can't see, because the thing is that we must basically just do the basics right first. And then we can start planning for the next future and what's coming next.
Okay.
And the thing is, now the government has to get the increase of 28 billion rand. That's what I want. And we first have to sort that out before our economy can grow.
Okay. All right. Something closer to you. Personal finances, firstly, with the high earners of more than 1.4 million per annum being taxed 45%. That's the first one. Secondly, what's your take on the whole SMMEs and the allowances that are made, or allocations that are made towards that, in terms of encouraging further entrepreneurship?
Now, see, the thing is, all small businesses, they must know, because there's different tax that can be paid. You have the normal tax, corporate tax of 28%. Everyone's aware of that tax rate. But then you get the small business corporation tax, and that's about the average of 10%. So the thing is, you just have to meet some criteria, and that's a way for small companies to save some tax at the end. They just have to be advised directly on how it works.
Okay. Something very interesting. So, all right, that was about it. That was it from my side. Anything else that you'd like to add in from your expert opinion for our listeners before we, especially when it comes to personal saving and personal investing?
See, my thing is, if you've got a company, make sure your tax consultant or your accountant or auditor is up to date with the tax laws that's currently going on, and to give you the best advice they can be. And that's what we specialize in. We look into each company. It doesn't matter if the one company makes R1 million, the other one makes R1 billion. You must just make sure you pay the correct taxes. Okay.
Have you picked up maybe in the past that maybe you'll find that companies are maybe paying taxes that they were not supposed to have even started paying, due to the fact which you just raised now, not getting proper advice, therefore hampering their growth and the process?
Yeah. I mean, we see it every day, because we work in the private sector. So we work with small companies here, especially, and they think they just reach out 28%, for instance, for the tax, but they don't go to an accountant or tax specialist or auditor and ask them, please give me an advice. Rather outsource it, the accounting side and the tax side, and make sure you pay the correct tax. That's my advice to all small companies and big companies, of course, because small companies doesn't have the infrastructure to have tax specialists or in-house accountant, for instance.
Yes.
So to pay that fee on an annually basis or monthly basis, you will see actually there is some tax savings they can advise you on. If it's from the pay-as-you-earn side up to the VAT side.
All right. So thank you very much for that. That was a very informative session that I just had with you on my side. If you just joined us in, we just had an interview, or we're currently on the line, I'm having Mr. Renier Nell. That's the Master Tax Practitioner and Director of Accounting and Tax Firm, Innovative Accounting Solutions. We were unpacking the budget and obviously picked up on a few pointers of how to go about, as small businesses or those that own small businesses, of how to go about making it a point that they pay the right tax, and if possible, they can be able to make a few rands and cents staying home. From my side, thank you very much for that, Mr. Nell. Hope you have a wonderful day further, sir.
Thank you very much. You too.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
It's always wonderful to hear when you hear exactly in terms of how you can be able to just make it and survive. Let's pay some bills, and then after that, you're going to be playing a few gems. Thank you very much for joining us.